The Great Depression was a brutal worldwide economic depression. The timing of the Great Depression was different amongst nations, but in most countries it started in 1930s and lasted until the late 30s or the middle of the 1940s. It was the longest and most widespread depression of the 20th century. The depression originated in the U.S. after the fall of stock prices that began around September 4th, 1929, and became worldwide news with the stock market crash of October 29th, 1929. This day was also known as Black Tuesday. These were tough times for pretty much all Americans. In 1933, the unemployment rate was close to 25%. Suicide rates were at an all-time high. America had yet to see a depression this bad. Tonight, we will go back in time through experience of those who lived through this era. We will get first-hand accounts of what it was like during this era. How did people survive? What were the mentalities back then? These are just a couple of questions that will be addressed by our special tonight. Also, we have a special surprise for our audiences. We have found never-before-seen footage of Franklin D. Roosevelt being interviewed about these tough economic times. Stay tuned.
As any family will, but we will always be called the folks who live on the hill. Our veranda will command a view of meadows green, the sort of view that seems to want to be seen. And when the kids grow up and leave us, we'll sit and look at that same old view. Just we two, Darby and Joan, who used to be Jack and Jill. The folks who like to be called what they have always been called. The folks who live on the
hill. You are there. We begin with Otis. Otis was a farmer from Georgia who moved up north in hopes for a better life for his family. So Otis, what was your background before the Great Depression?
I was a farmer. The main thing I did was cotton. And back then I had a lot of my family help me out. So it was good for everybody. I was able to provide for myself, and along with myself, I was able to provide for my cousin's family, my uncles, my aunts. So it worked out well for everybody. And you know, back then, for a man like myself, a black man, to have everything, let alone a farm, was pretty something to be proud of, not to toot my own horn.
Okay. What was the main negative effect the Depression had on your farm?
Well, in 1929, the price of cotton fell about 18 cents. So at a certain point, it fell all the way down about 6 cents a pound. So I wasn't making any money. Violence was rising in the South. Friends of mine were being hung from trees. It seemed like once a week, I heard somebody I knew being beat or hung. Times were rough. I didn't see times getting any better, so I took my wife and my 2 boys and I headed up north.
What was it like when you first moved north?
Well, I moved up to Boston, Massachusetts. It wasn't a much better place up there. I couldn't really find a job for myself, but it wasn't worse than being down south because I didn't have any family up there. So, you know, no family, no one to really worry about, you know, people coming after my family. That was going on, the violence down south. So, you know, when I couldn't find a job, it was rough, but then I finally got something down by the docks. It was just enough, of course, nothing too much, nothing too less. And come to find out, I was getting paid at half what all the other workers were getting paid. Probably because I was black, you know, it was simple. The white guys getting paid more than me. Times were getting real desperate for me, so didn't have much to go on.
Can you elaborate?
Well, one time I was with my son at the store and I saw him steal an apple and a piece of bread, and I was going to say something to him, but I realized that night I wouldn't be able to provide for my family, for them to eat. So at that point I realized the money was taking a big effect on my life, and I was able to raise my boys, and I wasn't able to give them the morals that I wanted to give them. I was raised a Christian and I was taught never to steal. And when I saw my boys stealing, I couldn't say anything. It just showed me that I wasn't be able to give my boys what I wanted to give them in morals.
When did things turn around for you?
When I met Jacob Lawrence, I moved my family to New York City because of a job opportunity. It wasn't much, but it was just enough to keep my head above water. I was at a cafe near Aston workshop, and Lawrence walked in and saw me drawing paintings of stories my grandfather used to tell me about slavery. And, Lawrence, he was a big-time artist back then. He worked for the Works Progress Administration, which was established by Theodore Roosevelt himself, who was a president at the time. So we got to talking, and I told him how my grandfather told me all the stories about him back on a plantation working for master. And he told me what he was trying to do was establish the African-American experience in America. So pretty much he gave me a job underneath it, and from that point on, I was able to make a good living and provide for my family like I needed to. But times were still rough for everybody else, and I was just fortunate to meet Mr. Lawrence at the right time.
Well, thank you very much, Otis.
Thank you.
Finally, we have come to our exclusive interview with President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Mr. President, what have you done to help the current state of our economy?
Well, as I mentioned during my campaign, I pledged a new deal for the men and women of this country. In my first 100 days in office, we have been able to pass a number of different acts that have the intention to provide relief, recovery, and reform for the people of this nation. First, we have focused on reforms for areas such as the railroads and farming in an attempt to help support economic survival. Also, we have repealed the 18th Amendment. In the 21st Amendment, we have made the purchase and consumption of alcohol legal again. Given our current times, our people could use a drink.
Very interesting, Mr. President. Is there anything in the future people could look forward to?
In the future, we are looking to create new relief programs for the people throughout
Very interesting, Mr. President. Is there anything that in the future people could look forward to?
In the future, we are looking to create new relief programs for the people through the creation of new government-funded jobs. We're looking to create a new form of retirement pension, unemployment insurance, and welfare for the people that meet the qualifications. Our administration believes that these three things can truly help the people of our great nation to get back on their feet and ensure that they are protected in the future in case a situation such as this ever happens again.
Mr. President, those are all interesting things, and sounds like something people have something to look forward to. But is there anything that people have to fear?
As I've said before, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We will get through these tough times, but only if we the people work and work hard to get past these times.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's been an honor interviewing you.